Do you not hate losing? Do you not hate the feeling of being stuck at the exact same skill level while you see other players qualify for the next division while you're still stuck in Div 4? Well, that's the problem we're gonna fix in this video. But first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Verger Mike. I am a Fortnite competitive player and coach. I am that guy that takes cold showers and does handstand push-ups and climbs to the top of trees and climbs to the top of leaderboards and tells you guys to grind hard and actually try to achieve the goal of going pro in this game. Try to be the best player you can and try to be the best version of yourself. Now in this past year, I've not only been telling you guys what to do, I've been doing it myself, and I reached 3.7 KPR and 300 earnings. Now I'm almost at the point where I used to be at like 4.2 KPR was my peak. And that's 4 whole years ago. Like imagine I didn't quit back then. Imagine how much better I would have been right now. Like I was actually making more progress than guys like Vico. Like I was actually making pro level progress. And then I just threw it away. I quit. But I don't really live in regret. I don't think back and think, oh yeah, I wish I didn't quit at that time. I did learn a valuable lesson, and I think that's the most important thing. I think the lesson is that you should never give up, never quit. Like you have to be patient, you have to be persistent, you have to keep going and keep grinding. And that's why I made this video maybe a week ago. But what's really interesting is the fact that I used to be 4.2 KPR, but my fighting skill level was probably around like 10 KPR skill level. Like I was actually a very decent fighter. Like we had the COVID lockdowns and I was getting homeschooled, you know, like online classes or whatever. And I was just playing Fortnite during the online classes, and that's how I became so good at the game. Constant 1v1s and fighting practice, like my fighting skills became like extremely good. But then when I returned back to the game, maybe 1 to 1.5 years ago, I realized my fighting skills is actually not that impressive anymore. Like my fighting skills is like half decent compared to the average competitive player now. And that's because competitive players keep getting better and better and better. So your goal should not only be to make like a decent amount of progress, your goal should be to make even more progress than your competitors. Let's say you go from the bottom, level 0, all the way to level 100, and it takes you 4 years to reach this point. Your level 100 at that point is probably like level 50 at that point, because pro players also keep improving. They're already at the top, but they also increase their skill level. And that's why it's even more important for you guys to make an incredible amount of progress. Like not just a little bit, but like a very good amount. And so if you feel like you're not improving at the rate that you should be improving, then this video is for you. And there's 3 main reasons why you would not be improving as much as you want, and why you're kind of stuck at the same skill level. Now the first point, we're gonna go through this very quickly, is you're not grinding enough. I mean, this is like a very common advice, like for me on my channel, like all of the time I'll say you need to grind as hard as possible, put in as many hours as possible, grind scrims, 6 hours a day, 12 hours a day, doesn't matter, as much as you can. Now of course there's gonna be some little kid, you know, with 100 PR saying he watched the Destiny Jesus video that 3 hours a day is enough. You know, fuck him, fuck Destiny Jesus, you know, like if you actually believe you can go pro on 3 hours a day, like you're just like living in a delusion basically. Like maybe going pro in 3 hours a day was possible when you played in 2019, not in 2026. Like if you're at 100 PR right now or 500 PR, you probably want to grind as much as possible. Play a ton of scrim sessions, play a ton of fighting practice, tokens, whatever. So there's a very big chance that you guys are not grinding hard enough. And you know, not grinding hard enough is mostly about your IRL situation, your real life situation. If you go to school and you spend 8 hours at school, that's 8 hours you didn't play Fortnite. If you waste your time on social media, scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on YouTube, watching Mr. Beast videos, you're wasting your time that you should be practicing scrims. If you waste your time playing other video games, big time waste. Like why would you play other video games? That means you're a casual player basically, and you can forget about the goal of going pro. Like there are some nuances, maybe there's some pro player that plays CSGO or whatever. But like most players, if you play other games, you're probably just a casual gamer and you should probably, forget about the goal of going pro. Like the reason why you're not grinding hard enough is not usually because you're lazy, it's usually because you're so distracted with other things. And that's why I made a whole distractions course inside Fortnite Academy. 1 hour long, I'm talking about distractions and limiting your distractions. Because it's so important. If you waste your time and your energy on other things, you have less time and energy for Fortnite competitive. And you will make less progress. So that is the first reason. You're not grinding hard enough. Now, if you have been following me for a while, then you're probably grinding. You know, like I say, grind all of the time. So perhaps you are a grinder. But then the second reason is probably the reason why you are stuck in this game. And it's because you don't practice at the right difficulty. If you play an open scrim and you make a terrible rotate, people won't punish you for that mistake. And so your learning process, your learning speed is gonna be so much slower. If you don't get punished for your mistakes, your brain doesn't think, okay, I made a mistake, I should learn from it. I should probably not do this again. But let's say you do a certain rotate and it works out. Your brain thinks, oh nice, I did a good rotate. But then when you get to high elo or good lobbies, then you get punished for the mistake. And so when you don't really practice on a high difficulty, then when it comes to high difficulty in tournaments, you struggle. I would argue that most players, for 80% of the time, they practice below their skill level. They'll play against players that are worse than them because it makes them feel better. Because if you play against a player that is worse or maybe around your skill level, then you're gonna beat them most of the time. And if you beat them, you feel nice. You're like, yeah, nice, I beat them. But you didn't improve. Like, it's much better to lose like 8 out of 10 1v1s. Because you're playing against very good players. Play a token and lose. Like, you should lose 5 tokens in a row. Because then you're at least improving. Your brain is automatically learning from your mistakes, from the tokens. Because you're learning at that difficulty. You're getting punished for all of these mistakes. You don't get away with a bad rotate if you play in the hardest scrim lobbies. And so if you're playing open scrims or very bad scrims, you don't get punished and you don't learn, you don't improve. Your goal with your practice should be to find the best practice possible, and that is the highest difficulty. Now there's maybe an argument to be made that you don't want to practice like at the highest skill level if you're still at like a bottom skill level. Like if you're a terrible player, if you're like 100 PR, then playing open scrims is fine. But if you're playing open scrims when you're 4k PR, then it's probably not worth it anymore. Like you would rather play in higher scrim Discord servers. Like the other day I saw Destiny Jesus post a video that he went pro in 14 days. And then I watched the video and I saw him grinding reload ranked all of the time. And then I'm thinking like, oh, bro, no, we're giving the people the wrong advice. We shouldn't be playing reload. Like I do respect the fact that Destiny Jesus actually put in some work. Like I even commented that. But if you're gonna grind something, then please grind something with a high skill level. I think that's the reason why he's never been that good at the game. And he plays against Resub as well, playing 1v1s against Resub. Like if you play 1v1s against Resub, you're gonna get to the skill level of Resub. Like if you play reload ranked, which is the easiest thing, right? Like if you're a decent player, you're dropping 20 bombs in solos, you're dropping 50 bombs in duos, or maybe 40-ish. Like it's so easy, everyone is like a terrible player in reload. If you play reload all of the time, you're not gonna go pro. Because you're not practicing at a high skill level. Like all of these players are bad, and so you're gonna get to that skill level, basically. They say you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I think the same applies to the people you surround yourself with in-game. Let's say you play 4v4s against 10k PR players. Then eventually you're gonna reach like the 10k PR skill level in terms of fighting. Because they're basically forcing you to become like them. If you play in the highest scrim Discord servers, like the hardest lobbies, then you're gonna eventually get used to those lobbies and you're gonna, be at that skill level one day. After some practice, of course. Like it's not gonna happen overnight, you still need to grind. But if you play reload ranked, you're gonna turn into the bots of reload ranked. But it's still low skill level, and I think that's the main reason why most players, they are grinding, but they're not grinding the right things because they're not grinding at the right difficulty. Now the last reason why you're still stuck in this game, and this is the most advanced reason, and it has to do with learning. Like people think that learning is just consuming information. Like if you watch this video and nothing changes, if you don't do anything different, then did you really learn something? Not really. Like learning only happens when you have a certain behavior and then you change that behavior because you learned something. Let's say I tell you guys like aim training is important and I explain why aim training is important. Well, you're learning, okay, like I'm explaining why aim training is so important. But if you don't do it, then, it doesn't matter. Like you didn't really change your behavior, you didn't change your actions. And I think this principle applies to what happens in game. So when you're VOD reviewing your mistakes, your tournaments, you're going in replays and thinking, okay, like our off spawn is pretty bad. But instead of like changing things about your off spawn, you kind of like, you see that it's bad, you see the reasons why it's bad, but you don't do anything different the next game. And so nothing changes and you still get the same result and your off spawn continues to be bad. You see your rotates are terrible, but you don't, actively try to improve your rotates. You're not like, okay, let's do this differently next game. Let's maybe rotate around the map. Let's tank storm this game. Let's maybe not rotate this way. You don't do anything different. And if you don't do anything different, you're not really improving. You're not really learning. So in a Discord server that I have with my teammates, something random, we have a channel called Habits. And it includes habits like this. After you get a kill, instantly box up. Now, if you master this habit and apply this in your gameplay, like you develop this habit and you do this every single time, then you're not gonna die to this mistake. But if you, right now, you're learning this mistake right here, after you get a kill, insta box up. But if you hear this information, I'm saying this right now to you, but if you don't do it in your own tournaments, then it doesn't matter that you heard it. It doesn't matter that you learned it. It matters that you changed your behavior and that you actually build the habits. This is another habit, for example. There used to be a crash pad meta. And we used to throw our crash pads kind of in the open. And so when random, he was the IGL, he threw a crash pad in the open and then it got shot out and I had no crash pad to use. And so we realized, okay, we should probably box up the crash pad and use a crash pad when we're in a box and not just throw it out in the open. Now, if we VOD reviewed this and we learned this, but then we don't do this consistently, then it doesn't matter that we VOD reviewed, it doesn't matter that we made this mistake in the past. Like all of these mistakes we cannot learn from because we're not doing something different. And now everything comes back full circle, because what did I say at the start of this video? I quit the game in 2022, that's like 4 years ago, I quit the game. But I don't look back on it with like a sense of regret. Oh yeah, I shouldn't have done that, I wish I didn't do it. I think back and I think, okay, this was a learning opportunity. What did I learn from this mistake? And now I could learn the fact that I probably shouldn't quit the game, I probably shouldn't give up. But then I could just still give up. And if I do give up, did I learn anything? Probably not. And so it's not only about learning from your mistakes, it's also about, not doing the same mistake over and over again. And changing your habits and your behaviors, your actions, so that you actually improve. Now boys, if you enjoyed this video and you want more amazing advice just like this, then you can subscribe to the channel. And also, don't forget to like and comment WVODs. Everyone comment WVODs, WVODs, WVODs. And if you want, you can also join Fortnite Academy, of course. For $10 per month, you get weekly VOD review sessions and you get a bunch of courses that will help you improve in the game. I think the weekly VOD review sessions are probably worth the $10 anyways. And then on top of that, you get all of these courses. So yeah, you might want to check it out. Now as always, keep grinding boys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.